So today we're jumping back into the world of PvZ Road Trip, the fan game recreating Plants vs Zombies adventures, but also going above and beyond. And we've been following this for almost 4 years now. How crazy is that? And for long periods we don't hear much about PvZ Road Trip, but when we do, it's always impressive and there's always loads of progress being made, and today is no different. So this brings us to PvZ The World Tour. Now, for those of you who remember, this was actually a game mode that was originally going to be in PvZ Road Trip, but due to the scope and ambition, they decided to make this a standalone separate game instead. So PvZ The World Tour is essentially a level maker. So, you know, if Plants vs Zombies Adventures and Super Mario Maker had a baby, it would probably be this. So this essentially allows you to create, share, and play your own custom levels, which is really awesome. Now, I did actually get access to a private beta of this recently. However, it is now available to the public on Gamejolt. There is a link in the description. Before we dive in though, this is still in development, so just be aware there's a number of features that don't work currently. So for example, you can't actually publish or share your levels, but you can save and load them. But features that do work are very polished, and these are like the core features. So here we are at the main menu, which looks awesome, I might add. I love the art style. There's some really nice visuals, subtle cloud movements going on. It's simple and straight to the point, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So if you head into play, there's a few options. So we're going to go into saved levels. Now in here there is an example level, which the devs have put together, which is really useful. So once you click in to start a level, you get an overview screen, which gives you lots of info about the level itself, and you get a little screenshot. And I think one of the main things that I noticed within these levels is that suddenly the levels feel a lot more alive, especially now that there are so many more assets that the game can use. Within this version of PvZ World Tour, there's also been some new plants that we've yet to see, and this also includes an update to the choose your plant screen. So when you're selecting a plant now, you get some information as well as an animation to go with it. It's really lovely to see that we have a set of some of our favorite mushrooms entering the game. Obviously we know what a lot of these do. Plantain looks adorable, and there are a couple of the ones from PvZ Adventures which I didn't recognize. So we've got popcorn, which is just potato mine essentially, and then B2 is a melee plant which has a great description which says headbutt zombies into submission. Now let's talk about the example level itself, and I've got to say I found it really difficult. Like, I attempted it like 4 or 5 times and failed miserably. However, everything in the level certainly feels more polished. The UI has been updated. There's now a pause button, and there's a really nice feature that, like, if a certain object covers part of the road, or where the zombies are walking, when you hover your cursor over it, it reduces the opacity of the object so you can see through. One thing that is still bugging me that I did mention before is that for some weird reason there's jagged edges on the gravestone. I don't know why. All the other images seem fine, but just that needs fixing. Anyway, the example level gives you a great idea of the types of things you can build in the game, and you can actually use it as a template to edit if you're somebody who doesn't want a blank canvas, you want somewhere to start. That it's also great for that as well. So if you head back to the main menu and go into create, this is where the real magic begins to happen, and they've built a really robust piece of software here with lots of options to create all kinds of levels. And when you first go in there, it does look quite overwhelming. Each tool does have some explainer text, and there is actually a guide tutorial which is led by a pea shooter, but it's not available currently, so they will add that, which is nice. In the meantime, I will take you through a bit of an overview. So if you do want a full in-depth tutorial on this, by the way, do let me know in the comments, and I might do a separate video on that. So over on the right hand side we have the main tools panel. So this includes things like select, add items, delete, move, all those types of things, and these all relate to the elements menu. Now in here is a ridiculous number of assets, especially in decorations. There's literally so much to play with in here. The possibilities are endless. So there are some essential things in here as well, so zombie spawners, pathing, that type of thing, but I do wish there was an explanation of each object, especially the essential ones, but I'm sure that will come. If you go back to the main screen, you also have in the bottom left, it's an icon which shows you what object you currently have active. Moving on to the top bar, bar on the left, we have the global map settings. This includes the ability to change size of your map, the time of day, change the weather, which I think is really cool. You can have cloudy, rain, thunderstorms. Also, there's lighting, so you can have it like normal, or you do it where like you can only see the area near your cursor. So if you want to make like a real nighttime map where you can't see much. Then over on the top bar on the right, we have the technical options. This includes things like the tutorial, which we talked about, smart view, which you can like preview the level as if you're seeing it in game, level info, and then you've also got the file menu. And this is obviously important because this is where you can save, load, and publish your levels. Moving over to the left hand side bar, this is what I'm going to call the technical tools. So in here, you can select the mission. So this is the type of level. At the moment, there's only the standard level, but this may include things like last stand and that type of stuff. Then you've got level settings. In here, you've got things like starting sun, location, and I will assume more will be added in here in the future. Then where it gets quite technical, you have the zombie master plan. So once you get used to it, it looks like a lot, but once you get used to it, it is quite straightforward. You can choose the difficulty, the amount of zombies, which type of zombies you want. This is obviously limited at the moment. We've only got up to bucket heads. But what's really interesting that I love is the very cool simulator. So this is like I guess a basic visual representation of when zombies will spawn, which grave, and that type of stuff. And it's really nice, so you can really see how a level is going to work, and how, I guess, by like changing the length of the path that the zombies have to go down, that'll obviously affect the timing of it, and that type of stuff. So it just gives you a brief overview. Seed packets, this is obviously self-explanatory. There's nothing in here at the moment, but you will obviously be able to choose what seeds a player can use. And then the music menu, which I really enjoy. First of all, there's loads of music to choose from, and it does include the author of the music, which I think is really, really nice. And you can preview the music, but when you preview the music, you get the little record, and it actually spins around, which I think's a really nice touch. Finally, there is of course the test button where you can try out your level for yourself. It is actually really nice. If you haven't done something, like if you've forgotten to do something really important, the level won't load, and you'll get a little notification that'll tell you what's missing, which I think is really cool. And it also means like levels won't break. Then you won't do something and accidentally break a level. It'll only load once certain criteria is met. A couple of things I would say about this menu: I do think some tweaks should be made to the UI. I think perhaps certain ones need to be color coordinated, just so you can divide the screen a bit easier, and like a bit more organized grouping of tools. Yeah, I think a little bit of work could go into that. I also think the UI is probably a bit big. If you look at software like Photoshop, for example, it is a lot smaller. So perhaps that, if you do that, might give you a bit more room to group them a bit better. But overall, I think this is absolutely fantastic. Do check it out. Obviously, once they get obviously the sharing part of this done, and we can start playing each other's levels, that'll be amazing. So yeah, I'll keep you updated when we get some more news about that. But yeah, that is about it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I shall see you in the next one. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.